In this video, I'm going to be going over a systematic way to recover from tendon injury. This video is based on an article that I wrote that is based on a podcast episode by Tim Ferriss, where he interviews Dr. Keith Barr of UC Davis on a paper that Dr. Barr wrote. And this, I believe, was brought about by a video Tim Ferriss watched by email, who is a climber who was trying to improve his finger strength. So without further ado, if you have been struggling with tendon issues, tendon pain, and injury, like myself, please buckle in and enjoy this video. If you'd prefer to just read this, by all means, go to my website, gregleopold.com, and grab this blog post / article, but let's get right into it. We're going to go straight for the key takeaways, and if you don't completely understand them, feel free to stick around for the whole video where it will give you the entire enchilada. You'll be able to see everything that goes into this, but without further ado, let's get started with the 3 key takeaways. So do isometrics that involve unhealthy tendons for 10 minutes 2 times a day with at least an 8-hour break in between sessions. Start with 10 seconds on and 50 seconds off, and progress up to 30 seconds on and 30 seconds off. The next thing, do isometrics where you're pushing or pulling against an immovable force, or these are called overcoming isometrics. So it would be like me pushing against my desk here. If it was actually immovable, I can move it because I'm strong enough to do so. Or it would be like pushing against a door frame. Or if you go to the gym, you could get on a quad extension machine and you could push your legs up until they can't go anymore. Okay, you're trying to overcome a force that is immovable. You can't overcome it. And the reason that overcoming isometrics is so good is because you get to ramp up tension over the course of a few seconds. This reduces the amount of jerk on your tendon. And if you don't know what that means, that is why you stick around for the entire enchilada. But just know that overcoming isometrics are the best thing to start out with when you have had a recent tendon injury, because they reduce the amount of jerk on your tendon. Okay. Number 3, vitamin C and collagen protein 30 to 60 minutes before doing a workout that involves the recovering tendon for increased collagen synthesis. And I didn't actually know this, but vitamin C is very necessary for you to take in order for your body to incorporate the amino acids found in collagen protein into the collagen in your body. So now that we have the key takeaways out of the way, if you want to sit around for the rest of this video, we'll talk about isometrics, we'll talk about overcoming and yielding isometrics, we'll talk about isometric exercise implementation, and we'll talk about supplementation and nutrition. To start out, we have isometrics and tendon explanation. Okay, so what are isometrics? Isometrics are exercises in which your muscle remains the same length, or relatively the same length. So if I hold my arm up like this, you can see that this is an isometric. I'm pulling with my bicep and I'm pulling with my tricep. And so my arm is not moving. If I pull more with my tricep, then my arm moves that way. That is not an isometric. If I pull more with my bicep, that is also not an isometric. You want the muscles to be relatively the same length. Obviously, they will have micro movements going on. Maybe it's not obvious, but they will have micro movements going on that we just can't see. The next question, are tendons homogeneous? Tendons are not homogeneous. They are stronger, stiffer in certain portions, and less stiff or weaker in other portions. Tendons are what connect bone to muscle, and ligaments are what connect bone to bone. Tendons are stiffer towards the bone portion, the bone connection portion, and they are less stiff towards the muscle connection portion. But what we want is we want this to be a smooth transition. We want the portions that are supposed to be stiff, and the portions that are supposed to be less stiff to be less stiff. But what happens with tendon injury, you don't have the appropriate stiffness in the appropriate areas. The tendon is disordered. All right, and then the question arises, what happens when you subject a tendon to isometrics? After some time, the strong part gets tired and the load then is put onto the rest of the tendon. The longer the isometric, the more evenly the signal is given to all the cells within the tendon. So this is why we want to hold isometrics for an extended period of time. It is to make sure that that one part of the tendon that is stronger gets tired and puts the load on the weaker portions of the tendon so that portion of the tendon can adapt. All right, what is overcoming versus yielding isometrics? I've already explained this a little bit before. Overcoming isometrics is one where you're trying to overcome something that is immovable, right? But yielding isometrics, what does this mean? Yielding isometrics was the example of me holding my arm in one position. I have to hold a position. A good example of this is a plank, okay? You need to apply just the right amount of tension in order to stay in the same position. All right, now let's answer the question, what is jerk? Jerk is distance over time cubed. It is the rate of change of acceleration. Acceleration over time. Okay, first we have distance over time, that is speed. Then we have speed over time, that is acceleration. And then we have acceleration over time, and that is jerk. Jerk is the thing that induces injury, according to Dr. Barr. Okay, so overcoming isometrics can be beneficial, especially when just starting to rehab tendons because they can minimize the amount of jerk on a tendon. Okay, so implementing isometric exercise. So what you want is 10 minutes of activity separated by 6 to 8 hours of rest. And like I said before, this is the minimum effective dose. It is effective to do this amount of exercise separated by this amount of time. And here, if you read this whole thing, this was Emil's program for 30 days. You can actually watch his video where he lays all of this out. It's at the end of this article, and I will link it in the description of this video. But he did 3 sets of 4-finger crimp at 14 millimeter edge. He did 3 sets of 3-finger drag in deep pocket, and then 1 set, 1 set, 1 set, 1 set. So he did 10 sets of things involving his hands. He is a climber in order to be able to adapt his tendons to the stress, right? And he did this for 30 days, 2 times a day for 30 days, and his results are pretty incredible. So I would suggest you go and watch that video. It's quite entertaining as well as informative about this method of helping your tendons out, right? Strengthening them. All right, finally, we get to supplementation/nutrition. Take vitamin C and collagen protein 30 to 60 minutes before doing a workout that involves the recovering tendon. I actually started doing this yesterday, 2 sessions, 10 minutes a day. So I did 2 sessions yesterday. I've done 1 session today. I actually haven't done this yet. Taken vitamin C with collagen protein 30 to 60 minutes before doing a workout that involves the recovering tendon, but I need to do it. And I'll just read the rationale here for you. This is partially from the paper that Dr. Barr has written that was kind of the basis for this entire thing, and also from the podcast here. So I'll read both of these things. Amino acids that are enriched in collagen, proline, hydroxyproline, and hydroxylysine added together with vitamin C can improve collagen synthesis. Connective tissues don't receive good blood supply. The way that those tissues get their nutrients is by getting either compressed or stretched, and the matrix gets squeezed of liquid. Then, as it relaxes, it's going to bring liquid in from the environment. If the environmental liquid has more of the amino acids and the vitamin C that we need to build more collagen, having the collagen base before you do your exercise, that's the ideal situation. Take it about 30 minutes to an hour before. All right, and that wraps it up. This is what you need to do if you want to recover from tendon injury. I have knee injuries that involve tendons. I have been dealing with a rotator cuff injury. I think I'm pretty much done with it now. I've been dealing with lower back stuff. I've been dealing with mid back stuff. What I am trying out, I've actually been dealing with bicep and forearm stuff as well. I am trying this out on my knees because I am done. I really want this to be the solution. And from the looks and sounds of it, from what other people have said, this could be the solution to tendon issues. So if you're having tendon issues, I'm glad you tuned in to watch this video. If you made it all the way to the end, I really appreciate you doing that. Please hit the like button if you like this. Please subscribe and share this with someone else who has issues with tendons, because this is a really big deal. It affects like so many people, and it sucks to live this way. So I am glad I stumbled upon Tim's podcast and Dr. Keith Barr's paper, as well as emails video. I will link all of those in the description below. Thanks so much for watching the video, and I hope you have a great day.